Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Sales Unscripted podcast. I am one of your hosts, Margaret Henney.
Other host, Brian Neal here.
And we are back, starting out big, 2024. Already have a couple podcasts under our belt. It feels
More
good.
than that, right?
Yeah, I know.
That's nice. Well, we've got like 60 under our belt.
Oh, I mean for the year. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. We've got quite a few under our belt. I just mean for the year. It feels
nice.
good to like get back in the groove of things. I'm in the swing. You know what I mean? Like I'm finally
100%.
feeling totally out of holiday mode.
Yes.
In a great way.
Yes.
Like
It's nice, isn't it?
I love a routine.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't think I knew this about you.
I know, isn't that weird? You would think.
Not weird, but just, yeah.
Well, especially as someone who I love to travel, I love novelty, but
You like unscripted podcasts?
I like
with
unscripted.
No script?
I know, but
you
there
like a
is
routine.
something about routine
Same.
that just feels really good
I'm
to
the
me,
same.
and I get grumpy. I used to think I wanted to travel for work. I used to think
really?
I used to think that would be really cool. I would love it. Well, it turns out you stay in a bunch of shitty hotels and you eat crappy food. You might.
I'm like,
Well,
I'll be up front with my vodka ginger ale
Shut
this afternoon.
I mean, you.
What's it like? Send one of these back to the
It
girl in
can be
33A,
nice,
please.
But there's something about I don't know, just being
understand. Just
I've
where
got
you're
my
out of your
gym
elements.
I go to.
Yeah, right.
I love to cook at home. That
Are you a
makes me-
homebody?
You know what? I never was, and now my husband Derek is a huge introvert,
Yes.
and we also have a home that we
Yeah.
own when we always used to live in an apartment, and so I'm starting to become more of a homebody.
That's okay. It's part of the deal. It's evolution
it?
of the soul. Yeah, sure. Well, you feel like it's conflicted there, don't you?
No, I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I find myself wanting to stay home more, but then I'm like, what's wrong with me? Am I sad?
Oh,
You know what I mean? It's like a little bit of
I'm
kind of an identity crisis because
Yes.
that's never what I was like before.
Yes,
but I
yes,
think
and
I'm
yes.
changing.
That's okay. You're evolving. I like it. I like evolving.
Changes.
Do you like that song?
Not really, actually. But
Really? You don't like that song?
No, I don't know.
Do you know the phrase, "and the children that we spit on as we try to change their world"?
No.
You know that phrase?
No.
And these children that we spit on as we try to change their world
These
are
children
immune
that
to
we
your consultation.
Spit on? That's part of
They're
the
quite aware of
lyrics?
what they're going through.
You
don't know that?
No.
Okay, you just dropped a movie thing last time, and you don't know. So that's a line in that movie. And these children that you spit on as you try to change their world are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. Hear that?
Yeah?
That phrase is on the screen
Mm-hmm.
for the beginning of what famous 80s movie? And these children that we spit on as you try to change their world are immune to your consultation. They're quite aware of what they're going through. And it
I've
so
got a good
fits
guess.
the movie.
I've got a really good guess.
It's so,
Is
and
it-
then it shatters. Like then a rock gets thrown through this glass, and the lyrics shatter, and then the opening scene is there.
Is it Breakfast Club?
It is Breakfast Club,
Let's go!
Margaret Henney. That's good shit right there. Way to go, girl.
Well, you gave really good
But
context
that's
around it,
yeah.
like with that quote.
But you hear it, right?
fits.
That's from that song. Changes.
Totally.
It's a great song. You should listen to it for the lyrics. Okay. Oh, there's a new podcast idea. So that guy does, what is it called?
Rewatchables.
Rewatchables.
Amazing.
Ready? New podcast alert for B. Neal.
What?
Re-listenables.
Oh,
Go
my
back to old
God.
songs and listen to the lyrics. First of all, there are some kids, mostly girls, who are singing into their hairbrush to a really raunchy song when they're like 9, and they don't realize the
Totally.
lyrics,
Totally.
Or like She Bop. You know the song She Bop? You know what that's about?
no.
Okay, I'll let you figure it out.
Okay.
It's by Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, I know Cyndi Lauper, but I don't know if I remember how that
She
song
bop, She
goes.
bop, a we bop, they bop, we bop, a they bop.
I can make some guesses now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
or like stuff that you
It's
thought
an
you
individualistic exercise, I'll say that.
Oh, okay.
She Bop, get it? Here we go.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh my
no, I'm
goodness.
not. I'm just telling you. You asked.
Embarrassed.
You're not embarrassed. Give me a break. I'm almost 40.
Or like remember the stuff that you would listen to and you thought you knew the lyrics as a
Oh,
kid?
100%.
And you would just
Messed
be
them up.
making up baloney.
Do you have one of those? Like, do you,
I do, but it's not a great one. There's this one song that was like, I can't even remember how it went, but it was something like, they technically say you and me endlessly.
Yeah.
It's something like that. And I thought he was saying you and me and Leslie. And I was like, who the
Who's
fuck
Leslie?
is Leslie? Get her out of the picture.
or is it a he? Leslie
Right.
could be a he.
Could be Leslie Nelson.
I had one. It's a really old 70s song called, I think it's by Elvin Bishop, called I Fooled Around and Fell in Love. I fooled around and fell in love. Ha, ha. You know that song?
Nope.
You don't know that song?
Nope.
Fooled Around and Fell in Love?
But it's giving me
So,
shoulder shakes.
It
so.
is. I fooled around. I know you know this song. Do, do,
Play
do,
it.
do, do, do,
Prove
do,
it.
do, do. Fooled around
And this is something that you
and fell in love.
You thought the
I'll play
lyrics
it.
were
Yeah,
something
it's Elvin
totally
Bishop.
else?
Yep.
Okay.
You know this song? You don't know this song? Oh, this is so yacht rock.
Oh, I fooled around
it is.
and fell in love. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I used to think it said a Voodoo Island girl in love. I think, you know, Voodoo Island, like you'd picture that, right?
Yeah,
like in Polynesia or
like,
something, like a Voodoo Island girl in love. Like I picture this like woman in a grass skirt, you know what I mean, with like tikis around everything.
Yeah, totally.
It's funny, but it makes sense, doesn't it? Right when you get there. So
Oh man,
just
see,
weird,
that
isn't
would be another. Okay, re-listenables.
Yeah, it is.
Do it, man.
See if you find me here.
Wait, are you trying to get to the part?
Oh shoot, hang on. Is this live? Wait, oh shoot, right there. Hang on. Okay, here we go, right? Here we go. Voodoo Island girl. Voodoo Island girl.
Now that's all I
Work
can
with
hear.
me, right? Work with
I'm
me.
on board.
Voodoo Island girl. See? And it makes sense too. That's the other thing when you hear those things.
You can make anything make sense when you're like.
What about phrases? When I was 41 years old, older than you are now, I was in a meeting. And this guy said, this is a very common misconceived or misheard word. This guy said he was a very big enunciator. And he goes, well, for all intents and purposes.
Oh,
and I go,
no.
what did you just say? I'm like,
Yes.
should I correct him? Should I correct him?
But he's right.
He's right. I was
He's
wrong.
right.
It's not intensive purposes.
Always, I know for
Right?
all
Holy
intensive
shit.
purposes, and you're like all intensive. I also thought old wives' tale was old wise
old
tale,
wives'
but it's an
tale.
old
That's a thing.
wives'
I know,
tale,
it's a
and you're
thing.
like, what? Okay. Anyway, now
What were we going to talk about?
Well,
what's the topic?
I don't know. You
No,
were
I came
coming
up with it.
this
What was it?
one.
It was some. Oh, velocity. I got it. No,
Okay,
see,
good.
that's
Let's
how we
get
do this.
there.
Velocity. Okay.
Let's get there.
So, topic. I want to talk about velocity, and you kind of segued without knowing you were going to segue, didn't you?
I did.
You said it's post-holiday.
Set
We're
it
there.
up.
We're back. And so here's the deal. So everyone's kind of back. Not kind of back. Everyone's back, right?
We're back. We're back,
Rolling.
baby.
January. What are we recording today?
23rd.
or something like that. And it's on now. So it's on. Because February is going to disappear. Then it's like
Yeah.
spring break time, and so you're rolling. So I want to talk a little bit about what can you do as a listener to this wonderful unscripted podcast to create really good velocity and momentum for yourself right now. Now that you've shaken off the holidays, you've got your own juju back or whatever you want to call that.
Yep.
Mojo, you're rolling. How do you pile that on and leverage that? I want to pose that question to you. And I have no answer. I just want to pose the question to you. So I'll sit and listen.
Oh, I was like, dude, you just set me up big time because I didn't know what we were going to talk about, and I don't know that I have any answers
I know it's
for you.
unscripted. That's the whole point.
I will
Just
say,
talk about it out loud.
I won't.
First
I,
thought.
I won't.
I'm glad
like,
you fixed your eye, by the way.
Oh, it was
Last
bad.
episode,
We had
Margaret had a
problems.
little issue in her eye, and she fixed it.
Well-
Which is that not the greatest relief?
Oh
When you
my
have something in your
God.
eye and it resolves and you get it out, it's like this massive. Like, oh my god.
The only thing better is
Peeing.
no,
Peeing.
no, mine's
What?
different.
It's
When
peeing.
you pick the biggest booger that
Oh,
comes
God.
from your brain.
God. God.
It comes all the way
Margaret,
from your
stop,
brain,
stop,
and you're like,
stop,
my
stop.
lord.
Okay, I have a thing. Please don't ever say that again.
Tell
And I'm
me
just
it's
gonna be
not
real.
true. Tell me
No,
it's
I'm
not-
just gonna be real.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm a very we're led by a female leader. I'm a very pro women,
But you can't handle
and I'm a little bit chivalrous with a few things. Some of them are bodily functions from women that I just can't deal with. It's my own problem. I know.
Sorry.
I know you do all the gross things that guys
Yeah,
do too.
yeah.
There's something about that in my little brain. I want to keep pure and nice. And that would be one of them.
You
picking
can
your
do that,
nose
but
with,
I'm
like,
still
big, huge
for
boogers
sure
coming out.
picking
It's
my
the wor- I
nose.
know you are. I just don't want to think about it or think about a
Amazing.
big
It
booger
feels
coming out.
amazing. okay.
hurting my feelings.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Poor
Sensitive. So let's
Brian.
stop. Seriously.
Sorry.
No, don't touch me with your booger hands. Gross. Seriously.
Wipe it on you.
Oh
Okay.
my
okay.
God.
My
That is
only
the worst.
While I'm
I can't-
thinking
I'm
about other
recovering.
velocity
Velocity,
things,
let's
you
go there.
keep thinking.
I'm ready.
Okay, last episode we talked about making a kind of personal business
We did,
plan,
yeah.
and I think that's a great way to set yourself up for that, so that you're
Yeah.
like, hey, we are getting right down to it. So if you haven't heard that episode, go back and listen to that
For sure.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about velocity. So now you're rolling. So just like you run a race, you get a car gets going, you got a little momentum going here. And so now what we want to do is we want to find that optimal run range where we can still go as fast as we can without like losing our breath or collapsing or running ourselves out. So I really want people from this episode to first check in with your energy. There's a really cool model. It's hard. I wonder. I could draw something here. For
Oh,
you.
if
So
we
can I
had
picture
like a
it? We need a whiteboard.
whiteboard,
which I
that would
had
be
one up here.
amazing.
Anyway,
All right, let's see if we can go for it.
I'll try. Okay.
You're very
Let's
descriptive.
go.
You can
X
do it.
and Y axis. Got me?
Yep. It's like this.
Y-axis is the up and down one,
Yep.
says the theater major.
Yep.
You knew that, right?
I did know that.
Did you know that?
Yes.
That's good. I'm impressed. Very good.
you.
So that's up and down.
Mm-hmm.
X-axis is sideways, and that is this one.
Mm-hmm.
Y-axis is productivity.
Mm-hmm.
X-axis is stress level.
Mm.
0.0 is low on both. Low stress, low productivity. High on the Y-axis is high productivity.
Okay.
Over to the far right is high stress.
Okay.
If you draw a parabola, do you know what that is, theater major?
Some kind of shape.
Some.
Did you see my face? I was like,
I'll take some kind of shapes for 500.
am I right? Is a parabola
Not really.
a shape?
No, it's really a mathematical equation in graphical form.
Shit.
But anyway, it kind of goes, it's like a bell curve. How's that? Can you picture that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so picture that. So you get 0, 10 on the x-axis, 0, 10 on the y-axis, up and down, right? And you draw this parabola where stress is middle. Stress is a 5.
Okay.
X-axis is a 5. Y-axis is a 10. That's flow state.
Yeah.
Your stress is moderate. You're in the groove, and your productivity is super high.
Oh my gosh, yes.
When you start to roll past over to the right side where productivity drops and stress goes up, that phase is called burnout phase.
Okay.
We've
Ooh.
always been in that, right?
Yes.
We're running hard. We're kind of piling on deals. We're chasing a bunch, and we're getting tired.
Yeah.
As we tire, stress starts to go up, productivity starts to drop. Then we move into this other phase, which actually like would repeat back to the beginning of the curve, where it's low productivity and low stress. That's called rust. We're like rusting.
Oh, okay.
You can't get out of bed. You don't want to do anything. One thing is hard to do. It's really tough. And it cycles over time, up and down and up and down. Rust to flow to burnout to rust to flow to burnout forever and ever.
Okay.
Most humans go through a version of this. You probably have if you sit back and think about it, right?
For sure.
And so the trick here now on January, whatever, the 23rd. Thank you. How do you know what date it is? So
I had to do a lot. I wrote it a lot earlier
you're just
today.
all about the date today.
No,
I'm like,
never.
it's the 23rd. It's the 23rd. It's the second Wednesday of the month. There's 358 days till Christmas. I'm like, chill, man. Like, okay, it's the 23rd. Like, I got you.
Okay, sorry.
You're like attacking me on the date.
It's because I never know the date, and I'm feeling very proud.
It's totally what it is. Exactly.
It's the 23rd. It is at 11:51 a.m.
It's Eastern Daylight Time, U.S.
Okay, go ahead.
Is to find flow state as fast as you can and get there and just start to work. So you need to amp up behavior. That little stupid things. Do you go in early? Do you stay late? Do you work through lunch?
Yeah.
To start to get momentum. Do you get really, really disciplined and principled with your follow through calendar work, all clarity stuff, all that jazz.
Wait, I'm gonna join in for 1 second because one thing
I've been waiting for you.
Okay, good. Whew, let me help you. Sorry, you're
Thank you.
carrying the whole show. One thing that I think is really interesting about this that I normally don't think about, and I just want to call out, is that some level of stress is positive.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Like sometimes you're hearing this and thinking, oh, I got to keep my stress
Nope.
at 0.
No.
That is like comatose, baby.
100%,
right? Like,
yes.
and that resonates with me when I have a little bit of stress. It means a little bit of energy. It's and one of the things that I can do to help myself do this sometimes, and I think I've talked about this before, if I have a completely clear calendar, get ready for absolutely nothing to get done.
Oh, that's great.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
great.
where
Yes,
I'm
there you
thinking,
go.
I've got all this open
brilliant.
space to do things.
Yes.
All of a sudden, I'm watching Handmaid's Tale in the middle of the day. Like,
What is Handmaid's Tale?
oh my God.
I've never heard of this.
You
ever.
should not watch it. It's so amazing, but it is
Is
like
it a show?
wildly disturbing. Yes. It's originally a book by Margaret Atwood. Like, unbelievable. The show
You
is.
are
Okay, never mind.
You're a
theater.
shut-in. You're a shut-in.
You're
No, you're like
shut-in.
ready to stay home and sit by the fire. No electronics. Sell the TV. We're gonna watch and read books.
Yes.
Right. That's
yes,
your deal.
Maybe.
You're
That's what I'm
evolving.
becoming.
You're evolving.
Ugh, God. But okay, all that to
Yes.
say, if I have
Yes,
things
I
to
understand.
do that are planned, then it's like I am forced to be more productive and more focused in those moments because I'm
Yep.
like, hey, all this time I thought I had, no, because then I leave, I go do the podcast with Bryan, then I come back and I've got my one-on-ones,
Yes.
then I'm doing this, like whatever that might be. So I think actually a full calendar can be a really positive thing, at
That's
least for
phenomenal.
me.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you have tools that we've given you and talked about. So you've got productivity pods. You can schedule with other people. You can do time blocking if you want. I love scheduling trips and travel for work. Well, both, but for work. So you can say, I'm going to be in this market on Tuesday and Thursday, the second Tuesday and Thursday, or whatever it is. Those are all things that will force you into movement, right?
Yes.
Everyone's had days, just what you're saying, where there's nothing on your calendar and you get up, you're like, oh, this is going to be awesome, free day. Next thing you know, it's 3 p.m.
You've done nothing.
You've literally done nothing. You're like, what have I done today? And, and then it's gone. You're like, well, that was a waste of a day, a free day. It's gone.
Completely. Yeah.
That's really great. I love the full calendar thing. Because you're right. The to-do list can just sit there and stare at you. Yes. Right? It can just stare back at you. And you stare at it and it stares back.
If there's no butting up against you, right? Some of that conflict where you're like, if I don't do this thing right now, I'm moving on to something else. This thing does not get done, right? So that can also help me focus-wise and be like, I need to be here now because in an hour, I got to be somewhere else for a whole nother reason and switch that mode over.
That's bravo. So, I love that.
Yeah. I'm not saying I do it very well, but when I thread the needle, it's great.
Have we, do you sew?
Speaking
of sitting inside,
I can sew. And I was in 4-H, like a lot of people.
Were you really? Did I know this?
Maybe not.
What did you do?
Well, see, I did all the city kid, 4-H stuff. So all my farm kid friends are showing sheep and cows and that's real 4-H stuff. And I'm like, here's my collection of trolls.
You had a collection of trolls?
For sure.
Don't you just buy 100%. Those at Target?
Yeah, but whatever. You have to make a shadow box.
Dr. Henny's daughter, boy, she really worked her ass off on these trolls. Yeah, they went downtown to Fashion Mall, went to Neiman Marcus and got some trolls, brought them back to Monticello and won the 4-H blue ribbon.
I did not win. Now, what I did win for
the winner of the best troll collection. Winner is
Margaret Henny.
Margaret Henny, third grade
the
at
only one
Monticello
in the category.
Elementary School. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I did. I also did cooking and sewing.
That's great. Oh, that's nice.
And
Good.
I won grand champion for my snickerdoodles.
Did you really?
Yes.
Well, bring that shit in.
Oh, sorry.
Seriously?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's great.
Grand champion snickerdoodles.
And there were other people in the contest?
Yes, there were.
You said it earlier.
I know. Well, for the troll thing. Yeah.
I've got a friend from high school who cross stitches. She's like a champion cross stitcher.
Cool.
You talk about wanting to drive off a bridge for me. Oh my god.
You would never be able to.
Oh my god. One or a crossword puzzle.
I love crossword puzzles.
I'm sorry, not a crossword puzzle. A puzzle. I love crossword puzzles, sort of.
Yeah,
an actual puzzle, like a 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of the same way. The only time I can do it is at Christmas when there is nothing to do and you can't even walk outside.
You know what though?
What?
There's always something to do other than do a puzzle, isn't there? Okay, we digress.
True.
So, getting momentum. Any other things, tricks, or ideas for people to pile on and get into that flow state?
This is another personal thing, but I'm really big into morning workouts because
that's good. I like that.
It just gets you going. It sets your energy. And I'm kind of, I have at least one good habit that I'm doing and I'm consistent about, it normally is that you talk about dominoes, right?
Yeah.
It's normally a first domino for other good habits because I get in the mindset of wow, I've really got something going here. I don't want to ruin it by screwing up. For me, personal things, if I'm working out, I tend to eat better.
Yep. 100%.
Because I'm I don't want that to cancel it out.
That's right.
I can do the same thing work-wise, but that really helps my momentum going. It helps my confidence. It helps my focus.
Yes.
Taking care of myself personally pays dividends in my work.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I'm not a fan of, some people, have you heard the phrase, eat the frog? Eat the frog.
Yes,
you heard that phrase? I'm just not a fan of do the hard thing first. I say the opposite of that. Do the easy thing first.
Yes, get some momentum.
That's how you get going, right? Start in first gear. Don't start in 15th gear.
Oh my God, that's
and try
so
to ride
true.
up the hill. It makes no sense at all.
That's so
Get
true.
going in first and second, and then the hard things become easy.
Yes.
Eat the frog doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes. One of the things that I do remind myself of, and I sometimes think, I don't think my dad actually came up with this, but he told me, and now I'm like, thank you, Fred.
Yes.
Where usually if there's something that you need to do, the worrying is worse than the doing.
Oh, that's good.
Because you're over here
Fred Henny.
I know.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
So
then
true.
you do it and you're like, that actually wasn't
bad.
that bad.
Always.
So you can significantly
really
decrease your bad feelings by just doing it because you're like,
true.
oh shit, I'm stuck in this I don't want to do it phase, and that's worse than actually getting the thing done.
I do that with studying rules in my other job.
Oh,
we have to
I
do
bet.
rule study, and it's just not my favorite thing to do.
No.
And I don't open the test. I don't want to think about it. And then once I do it, I'm like, gosh,
Did it?
it's not hard.
Yeah.
And I know the stuff. So
Yeah.
that's great. Good stuff. So lesson from today, get momentum, get into flow as quick as you can. You got some great little tactics and tips. Schedule your calendar, doing good habit-y things in the morning, getting a workout in or getting a plan in, seeding the day, and then do some easy things early to get yourself rolling. Start in first gear downhill instead of 15th gear uphill. Don't eat the frogs.
And have a nice full calendar. I'm
That's
not talking
really great.
back to back. Don't block the whole damn thing, but just like a pretty full where, if you're like, if I'm getting all these things done, I had a really productive day. That is going to momentum. What is it? Like objects that are in motion stay in motion, right? Was that Einstein or some shit? Newton?
Are you asking or saying?
Let's go. I was going to get there eventually.
Is that Newton's third law?
Beats me. One of them. It's a goodie. It's
Yeah,
a goodie.
Yeah. Okay, like for all of the T330 kids, those are theater kids, T330 kids that come up, we're going to do a little physics lesson for everybody here.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's really good. You got Newton.
you.
I mean, Einstein and Newton, same. That's really good. It's really
all
good that you
kind of
came up
around
with
here.
that, right?
So, thank
Good
you.
physics, guys.
I got it.
Okay, that's it.
Bye.
See you. Bye.